Ready to elevate your credit understanding and score? With insider tips and a plan, you can take action to improving your score, which can save thousands in unnecessary finance charges. Let's tackle today's topic with your coach, Credit Kristi.
Hey, it's Kristi, your credit coach. Thank you so much for being here with me for another episode. What I want to share with you today is that there are 5 major acts that have protection levels and some rules set in place to help protect us when it comes to how our credit is reported and what kind of information can get reported on our behalf. So I'm not going to bore you with a lot of extra details as far as like how long this act has been around, what year it started, who created it. It doesn't matter. All I want to do is share with you on these 5 acts what they do to help protect you and your information. So let's go. The first one is the Fair Credit Report Act. This allows you to know who requested and received your credit report covering the last year. It requires a lender that denies you credit based on your information in your credit report to provide the contact information for the credit reporting agency that provided your credit information. So if you have applied recently for debt, say you applied for a mortgage or an auto loan, you should receive something in the mail that not only discloses your credit score, but also the credit reporting agency that produced that information. So that happens even if you're not denied, but it's required if you are denied. The Fair Credit Report Act also says that you are entitled to a copy of your credit report if an application for credit is denied. This act also allows you to dispute inaccurate information and allows you to add an explanation to your credit report if there is an unresolved dispute. The way I typically see it getting reported is previously in dispute, consumer does not agree with outcome, or something along those lines. So that's cool. At least it can be known in this forum of whoever might be looking at your credit report if there is a discrepancy or you don't agree with something. So let's move on to the Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act. This allows you to see your credit report every year for free from each of the 3 major credit reporting bureaus. So that's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And you may also purchase a credit score, quote unquote, at a reasonable fee, as well as information about how the credit score is calculated. So they give you all of these crazy weird numbers, and most of them are bogus. I know on mine it says I haven't had credit established long enough, and several of my credit cards are, at least 10 years old. It will also say that there's some derogatory information, and you get upset when you hear this stuff. I'm like, I don't have a collection. I've never had a late payment. How can you say those things about me? But it's true. The next time you look at your credit report, look at those numbers. If you want to know more about that, I did a podcast, probably going back a year and a half ago at this point, that goes deep into that information as to what those numbers mean. So let's roll forward to the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. This act prohibits discrimination based on sex, race, color, marital status, religion, national origin, age, or the receipt of public assistance. So for that reason, none of those things are listed on your credit report. It also says that it gives you the right to know why your credit is denied, and it limits the type of information that can be requested about you or your spouse. The Fair Credit Billing Act establishes procedures and allows correction for mistakes made related to credit billing or electronic transfer statements. And this applies only to credit cards or other open-ended credit, revolving credit, so like a home equity line or some other kind of line of credit. And the 5th act is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So this is where all of your debt collection questions will get answered. So this act was enacted to eliminate abusive debt collection practices by third-party debt collectors. There are some rules set forth, like collectors can only contact people between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Collectors cannot contact you at your work if the employer disapproves. The law protects us from abuse or harassment by debt collectors. Debt collectors are not allowed to lie or make false claims against us as a consumer. The act requires that collectors identify themselves when they contact you, and they must provide certain information about the debt and your rights. And finally, the law requires debt collectors to cease contact attempts if you make a request in writing. So if you want those pesky debt collection calls to stop, send them a letter. So I want to end this episode with a couple of tips and suggestions to help you when it comes to your credit I do want to encourage you to go to annualcreditreport.com and take a look at what's getting reported. If it is not accurate, dispute that, ask for it to be removed, updated, whatever the case is. It's not necessary for you to pay for your credit scores. It doesn't really matter if all you're looking to do is to ensure accurate information on your credit report. I also want to encourage you to opt out of credit card or financing offers to avoid a bunch of junk mail showing up in your mailbox. And also that mail can contain some personal information about you. So do make sure if you're receiving that kind of information that you are shredding that and not just putting it in the garbage. But to opt out, you simply go to optoutprescreen.com, and then you will find that the number of unsolicited offers that come your way in the mail will really cease to exist. Your personal information is sold to a whole bunch of companies, and that's why you get a lot of mail that says you're pre-qualified for this credit card or we'll extend to you this many thousands on a personal loan. It's because your name and information has been sold to that company and you likely fit into a picture of what their ideal client is. Maybe you're a recent graduate, maybe you've had a mortgage for a few years and you're showing on-time payments, maybe you just started a credit card with somebody else, or they know that you fall into a certain income bracket. Make sure you update your passwords, especially for online banking and any financial accounts that you have, quite often because there's a lot of scammers out there. And make sure if you get a robo-dialer that you hang up right away. It never occurred to me before, but a friend of mine had said that sometimes those robocallers are dialing to get your voice on a recording, and then they can use that somehow against you later. And I thought, oh my gosh, well, that's a little scary. And I don't know if that's the truth, but I don't want to find out. So as soon as you answer the phone, if you know it's a robocaller, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings by hanging up on them. Just hang up. And then, of course, the obvious, be skeptical of any offers that sound too good to be true. They likely are. And I don't mean to harden your heart. I just want to be here to protect you. So I'd love to share an update of my life with you. I have recently become a published author. So if you know somebody who is looking to buy their first home, that is my specialty and that is my heart. And so I wrote a book. It's called First Home, Where to Start and How to Win. You can get it on paperback, Kindle, or Audible version on Amazon. And fair warning, the Audible version is my voice. So if you can stand to listen to more of me, I'd love it if you got my book, if that is a goal of yours to buy a home in the near future. And if we haven't already, let's connect on social media. You can find me on pretty much all of them at Credit Kristi. And if you have any questions or any ideas for the next episode or anything I can do to help you, send me an email at questions@creditkristi.com. I've enjoyed talking to Mike and Ramesh and Rachel, so thank you guys for reaching out to me. And until next time, my friends, stay well.
Subscribe now and share with a friend to stay in the loop for new credit content and insider tips to maximize your credit knowledge. And follow Credit Kristi on Instagram.